I guess if we were smart, we'd be doing this from a harvest hose, but apparently we're not. We're on the back deck of our RV.
But truth be told, we wouldn't be filming at a harvest host. We'd be taking advantage of everything they have to offer.
Whether you've heard of harvest hosts or not, or maybe you just don't really understand what exactly it is, harvest hosts and or boondockers welcome, that's what we want to talk about today. Give you a little bit of overview of what it really is and what it has to offer. Hi, my name's Dan.
Hi, I'm Dina, and we are Rivers to Ridges RV.
First off, what is harvest host and what is boondockers welcome? Harvest Host is really just a membership. It's a $99 a year membership as of today, and it gives you access to thousands and thousands of hosts across the United States.
Yeah.
Now there are some limitations to it as well. These hosts, it's a one-night stay. Now there's always going to be some exceptions. You may be able to squeeze an extra night out of it if you want to, but most of these are a one-night stay. There's no hookups at all. There's usually no water, no electric, no sewage, so you have to come self-contained. And more often than not, this is where we have so much fun. We just love harvest hosts. That's kind of the gist of harvest hosts, but boondockers welcome, that's a whole nother piece to it as well. If you do belong to harvest hosts, you have a membership, you can actually attach a boondockers welcome membership to your harvest host membership. Now what does that give you? Boondockers welcome, you can think of it more as a personal, usually it's a fellow RVer opening up their private residence for you to stay at.
Not their house.
Not the house. Unless you're into something like that, I don't know. But again, it's usually 1 to 4 nights, so you have a little bit more flexibility, and some of these will have some hookups. You have the possibility of some hookups as well. But again, these are usually fellow RVers just being nice, opening up some property for you to stay for a few nights. Now these can be anything from staying in somebody's driveway, maybe staying on the side of the house, to staying on a...
They might have a pasture.
It could
or
be
something
it could be a working
park.
ranch.
Yeah,
it could be a farm.
Yeah.
You could be out in the pasture with the animals. It's really limitless.
Yes.
It's just so much to offer. It's fun and it's exciting.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Yeah,
you never know
it
what you're gonna get.
Right.
Now, when would you use something like this? When do we use it? We normally use a harvest host on our travel days. Again, we travel on the weekend because I work. We have to travel on a Saturday or a Sunday, and we always plan ahead.
Right.
So what we would normally do, if we're going to go from point A to point B, and it just happens to be too much for one day, that's when we'd use a harvest host.
Yeah.
So we would look for a harvest host maybe somewhere in the middle or somewhere where we would like to stay for the night, and start doing some research on a harvest host and find something that we want to do. Again, just to break up a long travel day. Now that's not
sometimes you'll find more than one that you want to stop at in one. It's hard to decide.
It's tough at times, it really is. Now another reason, another excuse to use harvest hosts, even if you're not a full-timer, if you're just trying to get away for like a local weekend getaway, you know, maybe somewhere within 50 miles of the house,
not too far from your home.
Look for a local harvest host. That's a lot of fun. They're also fun if you have kids. Lots of harvest hosts are working farms. You probably don't want to bring the kids to the breweries or the wineries, but some of these are working farms. Some of them, you know, they allow feeding the goats or you know, feeding the alpacas. Those are great for little family getaways, even if it's just a short, you know, one night stay. They're a lot of fun. So those are some of the reasons why you would want to stay at a harvest host or at boondockers welcome.
Definitely.
Now, if that got you excited or interested, what I want to do next, I want to go on the computer. I want to show you how to sign up for a harvest host and boondockers welcome, and then we'll also show you the kind of the process that we use when we select or how we select a harvest host.
And we haven't been sorry at all for any of our selections. So and from what we hear, there are so many out there that are the same, that are just fantastic.
We stayed at a harvest host in Kansas. It was a winery. We stayed out in the pasture with a donkey, and we will never forget it. The hosts were so nice. We still consider them friends. We would love to go back there again sometime. I was at Shiloh. Yeah, if you're ever in Kansas, look up Shiloh Harvest Host is unbelievable. We've been to the one before that, I think it was in Missouri, it was another winery.
Arcadia Moon.
Arcadia Moon, that was another winery we went to. It's just a blast and a lot of fun out on a lake. Just memories we'll never forget.
And then there was Anna Lair. Oh, we did the brewery in Weed, California. The brewery.
That was her idea.
But that was really fun.
That was our first brewery that we went to.
That was really fun.
Yeah, it was
really nice people.
Totally different from a winery.
Yeah.
It was a brewery, you know, with bar food and stuff like that. And we had a blast, and the atmosphere was on. There was another 4 or 5 people in the Harvest Host parking lot, so it was kind of our own little city, I guess, down there, our community of RVers.
City.
And that was a lot of fun. We've been to Harvest Host in Oregon.
Yes, Anna Lair.
Anna Lair, that's another one we would highly recommend.
Yes.
Again, that was a winery.
Yes.
Are you starting to see a pattern here?
With some incredible views, though.
And the pizza.
And the pizza was to die for.
But the views, the views. Again, some of these Harvest Hosts, you can't go wrong.
No.
You just can't go wrong. They're definitely experiences and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So let's get on the computer. I'll show you how to sign up for a Harvest Host, and then we'll show you kind of the process that we use for selecting Harvest Host. Before we get on the computer though, if you like these kind of informational videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us get these videos out for other RVers as well. Hopefully we can help some other people too.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it very much.
I want to show you the Harvest Host website just so you have a general idea what to expect if you do decide to join, and if you do want to look for a host to stay at it sometime. On the main page of the website, you can see if we scroll down just a little bit, get past some of the pictures, it's going to give you a very brief description of what Harvest Host is all about. There's a few things to be aware of on this section of the page. One, it's already telling you that there's over 3,500 locations for Harvest Host. It is $99 a year, and you do have to have a self-contained RV. No tents are allowed, no outside cooking is allowed as well. Now we're going to scroll down through some of the advertisement, through some of the pictures, and get down to a section on how does Harvest Host actually work. This section of the page is definitely worthwhile reading. It gives you a very good understanding of what Harvest Host really is and how it works. Again, they're showing you that you have to have an RV that's self-contained. Most of these hosts do not have water hookups. They do not have electricity or sewer. So you have to be a self-contained RV. And again, no tents are allowed as well. Overnight stays are limited to 1 night, and you should, whenever you walk into a host to register or let them know that you're there, you should have your membership card with you just in case they ask for it. And there's really not too many rules with Harvest Host, but there are some etiquette and something you want to be aware of, and I highly support this. These hosts are doing me a favor by letting us stay at their business. Now, it doesn't cost us anything to stay there. However, we should support the host. If we go to a winery, lots of times we'll buy maybe a bottle of wine or some, cheese and crackers, something to support the host. If we go to a farm, maybe we'll buy some fresh eggs or something like that from a farm. So again, these aren't rules that you have to buy something. Common courtesy, support the host. They're doing this, for free. They're saving you money, so why not support a host? This part of the page also has a section for frequently asked questions. That's another very good source of information. And if you go to the FAQ section, again, they talk a little bit about the code of conduct. You can scroll down and there's all kinds of questions and answers in here. So if you want a little bit more in-depth, or you still have some questions about Harvest Host, go to the frequently asked questions section, and hopefully one of your questions will have answers to it there. Now, once we're done reading this section, if you scroll down just a little bit more, you're going to see kind of a general map of the locations, or the locations for all the hosts in the United States. This is a general map. Some of these are combined into one location just for simplicity on the map. Once you join, you'll be able to see the actual locations of all the hosts. And if you scroll down a little bit more, there's also a little bit more information in case you still have some questions. They do have a mobile app that you can use to reserve or request stays at a harvest host. Now personally, we don't use the mobile app. We always do our booking ahead of time. We always plan ahead, so when we're doing our trips, we're on the computer, that's when we would plan our harvest host reservations. And you can see they have some other benefits as well, like some detailed trip routing, some events and things like that. So it's a very good website. There's a lot of information on it. At this point, if you do decide that you want to become a Harvest Host member, you can go ahead and click on the button on the bottom of the page. And don't worry about the URL. We will give you the URL in the description of the video description below. Now, it is our affiliate URL. It does help us out a little bit. It doesn't cost you any more. It just helps us out slightly. So hopefully, if you do join, you'll use our affiliate link. We're going to go ahead and click on the button on the bottom of the page. Now on the sign up page, you're just going to ask for some very, very basic information. First name, last name, email address, and a password. Your email address will be your login ID as well, and your RV make and manufacturer. Once you enter in that information, you can click the Join Now button, and that will take you to a billing page. And we're not going to go to that here, but what that is a typical, they're going to ask for a credit card number and you know, a payment information as well. You could also, at this point, if you want to join Boondockers Welcome also, you could add that onto your membership. That's about another $30, I believe it is, a year. If you wanted to, you could do your first year with strictly Harvest Host, see how you like it. It's $99 a year. If you really, really enjoy it and you find the benefit of it, you could always add on Boondockers Welcome at a later time. Hopefully that gives you a general understanding of how to sign up for Harvest Host, how to get a membership. It's a very, very simple process. Again, if you want, you can attach a Boondockers Welcome membership to your Harvest Host membership, and you're good to go. And again, this is something that we really, really enjoy.
Yeah. Now I'll let Danny show you the steps we take to find our Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome.
Now that you signed up for Harvest Host, I wanted to show you how we use it and how we use it to find hosts. And you can see on this, I just logged into my account, and you can see on the very first page all the different opportunities you have for Harvest Hosts and the different kinds of Harvest Hosts as well. You can see there's over 750 wineries and over 1,300 farms, and there's almost 1,000 attractions. Now these can be anything. Attractions could be museums, they could be observatories, they could be fossil remains, or you know, archaeological sites, anything like that, any type of attraction. There are a lot of museums in this category. And if you enjoy your beers, they have over 480 breweries as well. Now, I'm not a golfer, so you can see on my page I don't have access to any golf courses, but I do have over 400 golf courses. If you are a golfer, that's something you'd be interested in staying at as well. I've heard they're really, really nice, and if you are a golfer, what a great opportunity that is as well. And if you do join Boondockers Welcome, you can see they almost have 3,200 locations as well. And Boondockers Welcome, again, it's usually a private residence. It could be a private house. You may end up staying in their driveway. It could be a private ranch. You may be on a working ranch. You could be on a working farm. Anything and everything goes. These are usually fellow RVers opening up their personal residential area or residence to you for usually 1 to 4 nights. But what I want to show you right now is how do we use this site? How do we find a host? And we'll start out by clicking on the Find Host tab up at the top. In this example, we're just going to assume that we're going to go from Hot Springs, South Dakota to Denver, Colorado. Now that's a little bit too far for us to drive in one day, so we're going to want to split that up. So the way we would use this website is we would zoom in, get kind of close, roughly somewhere in between our starting point and our ending point, and then we just start looking around for what kind of harvest hosts are in that general area, and then we'll go and do a little bit of research on each harvest host to see which one that we want to stay at, which one that we think we have the most fun at. In this particular case, we're going to search somewhere around the Cheyenne, Wyoming area. Now in our particular case, we love staying on farms, or we really like going to wineries as well. They're just usually a lot of fun. So the first thing we're going to check is a farm. So you can see this is actually a ranch. Now you can see in this particular case, one of the first things we check for is what size rigs are allowed at the locations. In this particular location, rigs or RVs less than 45 feet are allowed. Now our RV is 43 feet. So yes, the RV does fit in under the size limit. However, we do have a tow vehicle. So with both together, the RV and the tow vehicle, we're pushing over 60 feet. What this tells me is more than likely the parking area is going to be pretty tight if they're restricting the limits like that. So I would probably pass up this site. If I really wanted to stay there, I could always call them, tell them my situation, and see if it's acceptable to them or not. But I would never just show up expecting that. So this one here we're going to pass up. Now right next to it is another farm, so let's go ahead and give this one a shot. This is another ranch. The size limits are over 45 feet, so this might work for us. So we're going to go ahead and click on the name of the host and get a little bit more information. Now the first thing we like to do is look at some of the photos. That gives you a very good idea on what you can expect. If we're still interested in the host, then we'll go through some of the reviews after that. Scrolling down on the page, the host does give us information on business hours, maybe directions on how to get there. Lots of times they'll talk about parking, if pets are allowed, if generators are allowed, and any other information like that they'll give you. Usually it's on this part of the web page. And as you can see, when I scroll down to the bottom of the page, it talks about pets, and it also gives us parking directions. So yeah, this is something or a place that we would definitely be interested in. The next thing we're going to do is look at the reviews. And this is where it usually helps us make up our mind. Start reading the reviews. If it sounds like the host are a great host, if it sounds like it's a fun place to be, then usually we'll pick it at this point. So this one sounds pretty interesting. It looks like you could feed the goats and just kind of be on a farm, maybe enjoy some chickens and probably buy some fresh eggs as well. So we're going to keep this one in mind, and we'll look at one more and make a choice from there. Another harvest host just to the right of Cheyenne looks like a brewery, so we'll give this one a shot. So again, the very first thing we look for is the size of the rig. Will our rig fit there? And yes, it does. So we're going to go ahead and click on the name of the harvest host and get a little bit more information. And again, one of the very first things that we like to do is look through some of the photos to see if it's a place that we would be interested in staying. If it is, we just scroll down a little bit more and get some more of the details about the host. And this host again gives us a little bit of information about the actual location and their business hours and what they have to offer as well. At this point, it does look like a place that we may want to stay, so we'll go ahead and look at some of the reviews. Now when we look at reviews, one of the things I really try to pay attention to is parking. Some harvest hosts, they may have very tight parking, especially for a very large rig. So I really concentrate on that part of the reviews. And again, we also try to look for things like our generators allowed and our pets welcome as well. So it looks like this one would work as well. So we could either stay at a brewery or a farm with the goats. Now between Dina and I, we kind of prefer the farms and goats. So let's go back to that one. I'll show you how to try to request a stay. So we're going to go back to that original farm, click on it, and now we're going to show you how to request a stay with the harvest host. Once you open up the harvest host page, just scroll down a little bit. You'll see the calendar. And the very first thing we have to do is select our date. So we're going to go ahead and select just a random date for this example. So we're going to check August 24th as coming in and August 25th as leaving. And now at this point, it's just a matter of clicking the button to request a stay. And a couple more things on etiquette as well. If you do get accepted to stay, the host will usually send you a confirmation email saying yes, you've been accepted. If for some reason you can't make it, it's just polite to let the host know. There might be other RVers who wanted to stay there, but you're taking up a space and you're not going to show up. So it's just common courtesy. Let the host know if you can't make it. And again, you always want to try to arrive during business hours as well. If you can't for some reason, again, common courtesy. Notify the host and see if you can work out some kind of arrangements. Once a host has approved you for a stay, you can go back to the dashboard section of the website and you can look at your stays. Any upcoming stays will be listed, and it helps you keep an idea for calendars and things like that. We usually like to look at this, or as soon as we get approved, we'll put it on our Google Calendar as well. Hopefully that gives you a general understanding on the processes that we take when we select the harvest host. Again, we're full-time and we plan our trips way in advance, so we're always on using the computer when we select a harvest host or a boondocker's welcome. Again, if you're just doing this on a weekend, it's something you could do 2 or 3 days ahead of time, or they even have the mobile app and you can actually do it on a mobile app. Now, we will give you a link below in the video description. This is our affiliate link, so if you do decide you want to join, please use the link that we provide below. The price is the same. You don't pay anything extra. It just helps us out just a little bit.
Yeah, we hope that this video helped you in some way. We hope that it helped you understand more if you have never heard of a harvest host or a boondocker's welcome, or gave you a little more insight.
Something to think about.
Yeah, maybe it'll entice you to try it. And if you do, please let us know how you liked it, what your experience was. We'd love to hear from you.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, have a great week. God bless, and thank you for joining us.